JB. And today, they want to talk about my life.
Really?
And I'm serious about that. Abu, if I don't know about
So
you.
this is your serious face right now.
This
Why are you making me feel I am going to be cross-examined on the show today?
No, Abu Hanifa. You know, some people will look at us and say, we are mad.
So, Sinwi.
Sure, Sinwin. Ẹ ṣe ń kanra báyìí.
Àwọn náà nù.
Ẹ káàbọ̀.
It's a pleasure. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. JB would get on his feet because he is obviously still trying to put himself together because of the very importance of what we're looking at today. But it's going to be a strong ride, actually. It's a pleasure to invite you to join us as we onboard Boeing 747. Deen Uncoded, another episode landing. Cousin Funla is my name, Abu Hanifa, as you fondly know me. Mama in the house.
Wow.
Bugsy Mama.
Wow.
The people that give us problems.
Wow.
The people that made us to have mental health issues.
Wow. Just wow.
The history behind our problem. The solution to our problem.
Okay.
The blessing in disguise.
Mashallah. Open blessing. Blessing tó hàn kedere.
Gbogbo àdánwò ayé yìí ọ̀dọ̀ yín ló wà.
Allahu Akbar.
Gbogbo oríire ayé yìí náà ọ̀dọ̀ yín lọ́lọ́run kò sí.
Allahu Akbar. So you choose your poison.
So you agree that you guys are poison?
So the thing is, this is not about us, right? It's about you guys. Let's talk about you guys. Let's talk about.
Inna awwala fitnati bani Israel kanat fin nisa. The first problem the people of Israelite faced was in women.
I know she responds by saying that àwọn Shara is Israeli.
No. On the contrary.
Wọ́n gbà pé fìtínà làwọn.
No, on the contrary, if I may, I would insist on not diverting from the real topic. And this is how you guys go about it. Ẹ̀yin gangan lọ̀rọ̀ kan. Ẹ̀yin gangan la gbọ́rọ̀ wá. Ẹ ti tún ti ń. Let's not go there.
We're
not ready for this, so we're not
Okay.
ready for this.
You are welcome.
Yes, and let's just go straight into the matter on ground. Because EBT problem, ìpínlẹ̀ problem na you. Let's get to it. And alhamdulillah, èèyàn t'Ọlọ́run ti gbọ́lá yẹn fún, he will say it as it is so that ẹ máa tú èrò ara yín pa, ẹ máa mọ̀ pé ọwọ́ yín ni problem yẹn wà.
We had an episode on this show. And that episode was about Tumo Abdullah.
Okay.
And then I was reading the comment section and I remembered when the president said, I don't read social media. I don't read social media. The president said it after 2023 general election. Because you people, someone said, I do not have emotional intelligence. And he's educated. So that's why we have brought...
Did you think the comments traumatized you in any way?
If I am traumatized, I won't be here.
Good.
I laughed over it.
Good. So let me just bring on our guest and let's
laughed
get
over
this
it.
on the way.
Please,
so people would
do us
understand.
the honor of
Yes.
introducing our guest.
Muhammad Ahmed, but that's not who you know him as. You know him as Mentormoh. Àwọn ni olùdásílẹ̀, olùdarí Blackmo Consulting. And so his essence, I mean, I love the fact that he took on that bold step. What we know is men don't go to therapy. Men don't need counseling. Men, they don't. Imagine so. Afa Muhammad Ahmed Mentormomo.
Is this where we roll the beat?
And they roll it.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's okay to have your handshake.
Mashallah. Let's balance it out, brother.
Let me greet you properly. Greet you properly.
No,
We're together.
point. Honestly speaking, when we started
So
off
you
saying,
know you have not been speaking the truth all this while.
That's why you now she had to emphasize on
Exactly.
JB.
What's it, Baba? I'm just saying. Emeta.
People do not look for trouble.
No, there's
But
no
before you
trouble
ask your
here.
question, ṣé lóòótọ́ ni pé women are known for saying thousands of words in a day and men are known for speaking
2-3 words in a whole day.
Well,
Mentormoh be rightly guided.
you know, it's not even about how much time, how expressive you are, you know. It's about if what you do is in moderation. Islam preaches moderation, you know. But then again, the question is, the problem is we focus on the overt behaviors. What is the motive behind that woman, saying that much? It's an attention.
Are they not naturally wired to overtalk?
Well, not necessarily by personality descriptions. Men can also be expressive. Okay, so but because of the emotional nature of women, men are more logical. Women are very much,
Don't say
guided
that,
by
but
emotional impulses.
men are logical.
Yeah.
Women are. Let's leave it that way.
Please say it. Men are logical.
Yeah.
Is it okay to say women are illogical?
You said that. You said that, Abu Hanifa.
Well, in a way, so but
No one.
but you see, it's not really about what has been said or what is not being said. It's about the motive behind it. Some men might not say much, but we have non-verbal cues. We have verbal cues. If a woman might be saying, I don't want you, nasty things, but deep down in her emotions, she's not ready to leave. So that's where the emotional maturity of the man comes into play. You as a man should now be able to filter between the lines to say, what exactly is my partner or my sibling trying to communicate beyond just, and I say this about ego. Ego in itself is a normal construct. It's not a bad statement in psychology. What you guys define as egoistic or the ego problem is dysfunctional ego, bloated ego, unhealthy ego that is fragile,
Untamed.
that is not willing to be vulnerable. That's the kind of things we see around most men these days, and it goes away back. So yeah.
So that brings us to the issue. We are focusing on men.
Yeah. Okay.
We are focusing on
Yes.
men.
We want
Okay,
to talk
that's
about
fine.
us.
We want to talk about us.
Can I excuse you?
No.
No. Ẹ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀.
Excuse
No.
me.
Ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ ti pera yín ní poison láti bẹ̀rẹ̀? So ẹ kú
We're
iṣẹ́.
talking about us.
Yeah.
I would like to start like this. Who is Mentormoh?
Okay.
From Mentormoh's mouth.
Mentormoh.
Ẹ máa rẹ̀ ní sanwó advert.
I'm a student of human behavior. Okay, so currently I manage 3 entities. Okay, I have the consulting firm. We offer psychological services and learning and development services, and we have the foundation too.
Okay.
Yes, the foundation. We have like 5 or 6 engagements, but our approach is basically advocacy, research, and psychosocial support. Focus on perinatal anxiety and depression. We deal with expectant women, women that are pregnant, because most often time than not, we focus on postpartum. But before delivery, how have you, men, supported the process, especially with ladies that have had history of one mental health challenge before the conception? They are more predisposed to being, re-triggered or to relieve those experiences if there's no spousal support.
We're obviously going to find time to discuss that.
So that's one, perinatal anxiety, depression. We deal with men's mental health. We deal with youth mental health. We also deal with psychosocial oncology care, cancer care. So end of life illnesses.
Okay.
And then we actually do faith-based engagements. So we have mobile mental health programs.
Okay.
So for example, you have a function now,
Okay.
a seminar, conference, workshop. We can come on site, like we do with One Huma, create mental health booths. I have a community of therapists,
Wow.
so can come on site and then, support the
That's
process.
fine.
So that's the foundation. The last part is the school. We have the Helping Tribe School of Counseling and Positive Psychology.
Cool.
Yes, where we train therapists too. So the basis for that is most often time than not, those that go to school to study psychology or counseling
Okay.
do not have the practical know-how to deliver. They just know theory here and there. Now, those that are passionate about it, that probably by
don't have the
default,
opportunity.
they found themselves handling and mentoring people, they do not have the theoretical background. And like Lagos State did some few years back, when we have all these auxiliary nurses, we didn't know how to. They created a program to,
to bring them into
integrate them.
So I just felt that we can't continue this way because we need to nurture excellence. So that's why we created.
Thank you so much. So the reason for that question is for us to establish the fact that we have a big fish in the house. We have an expert in the house. Okay? And that expert is giving us a pro bono service on this show. Because to access him is going to be a tall order. So congratulations to you for having access to this very video. Okay, so Mentormoh, thank you for that. JB said before you walked into the studio that they say that all men are mad. And I also gave him reference that even in Surah Al-Qalam, the Prophet ﷺ was said to be mad. Noon, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم والقلم وما يسطرون ما أنت بنعمة ربك بمجنون. Allah had to come to his aid to vindicate him that no, ma anta bini'mati rabbika bimajnun. With the leave of your Lord, you are not.
Yahweh is there.
So, are we majnun?
No.
By default.
The word mad itself is just a nomenclature we don't even use.
So every 5 minutes we exhibit the trait.
Nah. You see, if you have a disturbed mind or you have a behavior that is unhealthy, or you have thought processes, for example, if there's a gap between your perceived self and your idealized self. I'm a Muslim. I'm meant to represent the ideals of Islam, and I know this. But the things I'm doing do not align with my principles or philosophies. So the larger the gap, the more you'll be disturbed in life. You start to have what we call multiple or split personality problems.
Mentormoh, any sure.
Yes.
This is Deen Uncoded.
Yes.
And they know me very well. And one more another.
No.
Say the way it is.
Okay.
You are disturbed.
Yes.
Something is conflicting with your personality and your ideas.
Yes.
Hey,
you're Yahweh. You see, we have subclinical conditions, we have clinical conditions. Before Katole lo the word weary, it means that that individual is experiencing a disorder. And a disorder is defined by, in simple terms, an individual is unable to function normally for himself and to be able to add value to his environment. You cannot wake up and do the normal things you should do on a daily basis. You cannot communicate healthily. You're probably always shouting or probably aggressive or probably too withdrawn.
It's not the default situation of an average man. But is that not the default situation? So the honest truth is, not generalizing, but the majority may be in this category you just described. That is the average man as we see it today.
No, Boxman, let me assist you. There's a statistic I came up with recently, and they said 80% of Nigerian men are wired this way you have explained. They are not able to function properly. They shout at their women, they shout at their kids because of one thing or the other. Is this really the basics?
It's because they are in the survival mode. You see, and most of them just exhibit passive-aggressive behaviors or manipulative behaviors. And the ideal thing should be, you should be assertive. Okay? You say that same man that is quiet and withdrawn, when he throws out his outburst, he becomes destructive and aggressive. Sometimes he uses manipulation to, torture the partner or people around him or her. The question is, when you are in the survival mode, there are 3 or 4 stages, right? We have the survival mode, we have the normal functioning mode, we have the thriving mode, and we have the flourishing mode.
Please, come again.
Okay?
Let's get one after another.
We have the survival mode, the normal mode, the thriving mode, and the flourishing mode.
So who is In what? Where are we at the moment?
From my understanding of the men that we've been seeing around, we would say that
The men you've been dealing with.
92% of men in Nigeria are in the survival mode. 5% are in the normal mode.
No.
Where 0.000100 will be in the thriving. Flourishing, flourishing.
Please let us
Flourishing.
Let us conclude. Let us agree
That
that a lot of men are not normal. So we want to find the reasons so that we can be able to
that's where we should
provide the
start from,
solutions.
really.
Yeah. Yes.
As I am like this.
Yeah, normal. Sorry. I spoke too fast. Sorry. I take that back.
I want to agree. I must confess here that sometimes you just lock the door on yourself and you cry. Because sometimes you just look at a lot of things we are going through. You know, so I want you to help speak to this exact. In 4 days, I have been told of 4 young people that died suddenly. One was diagnosed to a few minutes before he passed that he had his BP rising above 200, and he was never aware that he had BP. He has never been on BP medication. Yes, there is, 3 cases, all the 4 cases in 4 days, and they are all young people.
Okay.
And then young person like a little above 30, gray hair everywhere.
Mentormoh has gray hair.
No, you want to talk about me too? Are we going to continue losing our men, Muslim men, non-Muslim men, because of societal pressure and all these things? Help us to diagnose and provide solutions to this.
No, let us first take a look at the survival mode.
Yes.
Why are we at that level? Because no doubt we can't shy away from the fact that majority of men, let me put it that way, are at that level.
Okay, so I would say social conditioning and cultural norms have actually been significant in determining how career mature an individual is. In this context, a man. If a man is to be career mature, there are certain societal expectations he must live to. Okay? And if we look at it, the basic physiological needs, for example, it is until you have met those needs, you have a good living condition, you have clothing, you have shelter, you have basic life needs, power and all that. If those that sleep under the bridge do not care about safety, because they've not even met their basic needs. So if you as a man, you are still struggling with the basic needs, worrying about how to send your kids to school, or probably worrying about how to take care of the parents, or how to even, the very responsible men in the society worry a lot.
They worry a lot.
They worry a lot.
The very responsible men in society worry a lot.
So now I want to explain it using probably Maslow's theory. Those basic physiological needs have to constantly be met. Beyond that, but look at the way the economy has really made the home environment competitive. You're struggling to put your kids in. You are living a life beyond
Fake life.
our means. A lot of people living in Lagos shouldn't live in Lagos by default, So that alone is a constant pressure. I tell you for free, I was living in Magodo before marriage, but about that time I was broke because I just had my master's done, and I met my spouse also in the estate, So you look at that lifestyle. But because I was principled and I wasn't going to pressure myself, I could have still gotten a very good place probably around that area for probably 2.5 then, because probably friends or probably raised some money, probably a non-interest loan and all that. But I told myself, no, I'm going to start with what I can live with. I just called one of my mentor 2 weeks to my marriage. I want me to resolve or relay, and he said, okay, come and see me. He built his house in Ikorodu. And when I got there, he just took me into one of the estates, very quiet estate, very nice place, and he said, you can start here. I didn't argue it, I just paid off that day.
You grew up in Magodo. You spent life in Magodo.
Yeah.
You started life.
Yes.
You started marital life in Ikorodu.
Yes.
Just not to have mental health.
Yes. Now the challenge is this. Look at my wife's standard was the estate standard.
Magodo, right?
Yes, So, but I wasn't going to start what I couldn't sustain.
Compromise.
We after the marriage in Ilorin, they took us all the way down to Lagos. And when we were coming on the way, it was around Asolo Agbede side. I can't even remember the name of the estate right now. And she was asking, Mo, we have not gotten there yet. I said, we haven't got. I know that was where our mental challenge started from. And the road wasn't so good then. It wasn't constructed. Where is this guy taking me through? When we got there, this is where, okay. We prayed, we moved in, and that was how we started. Well, I spent probably a year, 3 months there. I moved back to town to a 3-bedroom when I could
afford it.
No pressure.
So the first surviving mode. The first challenge
is that an average guy that wants to marry now is worried about Cushing's, was worried about plasma, was worried about things that didn't matter. All my wife probably believed in was, okay, this guy has brains and he's not lazy. Things will still boom. It wasn't that I had any money significantly at hand at that time. And she still keeps saying it to today. Mo no carry me comot during the courtship period. I didn't take my wife on any date.
You're lucky.
No, it's not about lucky. So but the point is, it wasn't as if if we visited each other, and there were other primary things that I probably focused on as for personal development that and that's something I need to say again. As spouses, we need to invest in our spouses, not just financially. Sometimes we have to be attentive and be available towards their career development. That's one of the ways we can manage our own mental pressure. When your wife is being briefly engaged and she knows you are involved in what she's doing, she won't be disturbing you because, like for example, I travel a lot these days, and sometimes all through last year, it was those days off. Mondays to Sundays. 9:30, I'm still at work, Sunday. So the survival, the physiological needs, are you with me?
Fantastic.
If they are met, that is when you start talking of psychological safety, emotional security. Ọkùnrin tí ò bá lè provide ilé, or tó ń feel pé òun is not man enough because he's not meeting up with certain demands from his spouse, will start to have that insecurity. And that would affect his psychological safety. He will be scared of saying things in the house. He will be, and even if he starts to display behaviors that are unhealthy, the wife too will not feel psychologically safe to ask questions.
It was easy for you because Allah blessed you with a woman that was content.
It wasn't easy.
Okay.
Yes, we had the rough moments. There was a day my wife just left the house and went to sit at the bus stop.
To do what?
At the bus stop. I just didn't know. I didn't know where she went to. That's when I know. Okay, yes. Well, I see. Well,
are you serious?
Yes, because
she left the home.
Had the struggles of commuting to work. Our workplace was in Ikeja.
Wow.
And the corridor is one way.
And then I think she was in her first trimester then. So you can imagine the whole drama. So she sat down and I said, okay, I think I have to call someone to actually, speak to us and all that, at that time. And so it wasn't totally smooth.
You, Mentormoh, a professional,
invited another.
It's not going to work. There's what we call counter transference and transference. I won't be able to. Yes, there are indirect ways for me to actually deliver psychological first aid or probably counsel my wife, but most often time than not, it's not going to work. Especially if it is at
psychological first aid.
Yes, so she might want, because I am probably a trigger already.
You are the trigger already.
Yeah, so at that time, the only thing I can do is to offer compassion and allow her do all she wants to do, rant or probably show anger or beat me or whatever. You have to keep calm as a man. You can even hug your wife.
Keep calm.
Help her co-regulate. That's called co-regulation. When your behavior helps the other person regulate, even to herself.
You become a regulator.
Yes. Your wife is shouting, you are shouting. Your daughter is crying, throwing tantrums, and you're shouting at her. You are even more. What you guys are using, mad. You are more mad. You, the parents.
Is it a bad word?
It's a derogatory word using the word mad.
Is it in the dictionary?
Professionally.
Negatively.
Yeah, we just say having mental disturbances or probably.
Mentormoh.
Yes.
On the show.
So, bro, okay. I want to just complete that ladder.
Please go on.
If you're not emotionally secure or emotionally safe, for example, you suffered betrayal. Your husband probably was involved with some other lady or something, or
That's
you've
betrayal.
had STIs from him, or very crazy things that could happen in marriages, or
Yeah,
probably he
relationships,
borrowed money from he borrowed money from you. You didn't return it, or you noticed they did something secretly that you felt was important to you, you start feeling insecure. You start to suspect each other. It leads to what we call hypervigilance. You will be seeing things that are not even there sometimes, And so if there's emotional security and safety, I trust him to that level. Oh, there are things my wife will not trust me on. Oh, more, yeah. More like slim ladies. More, things like that. Tall ladies, She will say some things by fantasy but she knows that, Mo, this is what Mo can do. They say Mo did it, I know it's not Mo.
Yeah.
Mo gives benefit of doubt, things like that. So when there is emotional security, you now move to what we call sense of love and belongingness. Why do you think some men will just continue to focus on work and success? Why do you think some women would also continue to focus on work and success? Just to find meaning. Because they know when they come back to that home, they don't feel connected. They don't feel that sense of love. So they even get more attached to the workplace, where they find that sense of safety. And that's why some ladies, when they work with a superior that is opposite sex, there might be entanglement or probably, some...
Because they're not seeing something from their own.
Yeah, because there's no sense of love and belongingness. Wow. This affects the children also. They look for the love out there.
So I want you to stick to the ladder.
Yeah, so after sense of love and belongingness, then you now start talk of self-esteem. How do you feel about being married in this marriage? How does it affect your sense of self? Are you proud as a man? Have you done what you should have done? As a woman, does this man makes you feel your sense of self? How many times have you said negative things to you? How many times has he disregarded you? How many times have you feel unheard as a woman? How many times have you been reassured by your spouse that, I still believe in you. Yes, I'm not complete. I'm working on myself, and I believe we'll get there. Things like this. So once a woman's sense of self-esteem is strongly tied to the quality of her social relationship. When she feels socially safe around any opposite self, she attaches to the person because she finds meaning in that relationship. It is after that self-esteem. Because a man's sense of self-esteem is strongly tied to his career achievements. So he feels...
Not to the wife.
Not to the wife.
Not to the family.
Primarily, is his sense of his career. Because he feels that is the primary area of what makes him responsible.
Exactly.
Okay.
That is where I'm going to.
Okay.
Go there.
You have somebody striving, did so many things, but as Allah will have it, we are Muslims. Allah did not promise us that He will not try us. And you have challenges in your career. Normally, what does this mean for a man?
How is he communicating it? Most men do not have good help-seeking behaviors. One of the first principles of resourcefulness is knowing when and how to seek for help. Yes.
You know what I'm asking?
And I'll be very practical with you. There were times early in the marriage that my wife would just give me money. I'll say, I'll return it. I don't return it. I didn't know that was accumulating unknowingly because I just felt, but she just felt, and I was actually having a bigger plan. Yeah.
So, please, can you reiterate what you just said? Please, go ahead.
It's a loan. It's a loan. It's been mentally registered. So that loan, until it is paid back as I have refunded the loan of 70,000, it remains outstanding. But how will China or Singapore?
Still return that 70K.
It does not return the 70K.
I just wanted you to establish so that I will know that the pattern has not changed.
No, it's not changed.
Okay.
So,
It's unfair, right? It's unfair, right?
Well, over time, I came to
collected.
realize
I collected 2,000 naira from you here to sort domestic issues that we all benefited from, and thereafter I give you 1 million naira.
Go and
You're
you can
asking
beg
me
me and say, please forgive the loan, and I will forgive it.
Yes.
But don't use ego to
Yes,
bribe.
that's where
That's
we're
where
going
we.
to.
That's what it is for
That's where
me.
we're going
Mentormoh is what I'm going to ban when
That's what we are going to do.
You tell them the truth now.
No. I learned the hard way too. I learned the hard way.
Talk to them.
I learned
you are asking us to accept an anomaly.
No, it's not an anomaly.
To
It's not an
forgive the
anomaly.
loan, no.
So even by the
Beg me
principles
and
of
tell me,
Islam,
please forgive the loan.
by the principles of
And you
Islam.
should
Thank you, Islam.
Let me state the principle of Islam.
Oh, now you
Go ahead.
requested for
I understand.
a loan. Yes, and you promised to return. Amana ẹ ti dúró.
No, at least àwọn àmàna kan wà ẹ má jẹ́ ká máa deceive ara
You know
wa.
it's correct though.
It's right.
Uh-huh.
But under the Sharia also, there are some things under things like this, like Abu Hanifa. Àjọ sọ̀rọ̀ ó mọ̀ pé kí ni fún mi 2,000 naira lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. You know I won't return it.
You said borrow me. You said borrow me.
Bàṣẹ máa ń dora bọ́dí mama fún mi 2,000
Yá mi
lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀.
fún mi ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ni wọn yóò bá
yá
mi
mi
wá
fún mi
yá mi
I
fún
just
mi
believe-
lọ́tọ̀.
I just
Wọ́n máa là á sí.
Àwọn máa là á ni o. Àwọn máa là á ni.
1 million tó bá dà padà sọ pé 7,000 tí mo jẹ́ mo ti
Well,
dà
why
padà
can't you help us
ìtókù
talk to your gender to change their ways? It's
No,
not right
àwọn
now.
ọmọ
We
kan wà.
are strong Muslims.
You know, this gender too, they've been burnt.
Ta ló bọ̀ nù?
You know, imagine,
Àgbàlá ta ń nà.
because mo dey man sọ ni pé I'm an advocate of polygyny. Okay?
Thank you.
Yes, I'm a very strong proponent of
Can
it
I have your
because,
handshake for that?
you know. So, but whoopee must store. Okay. Are we together?
We are clear.
You are very clear.
We are clear.
Ẹni tó bá bí gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe
gbọ́dọ̀ tọ́.
ó gbọ́dọ̀ tọ́. That's the TikTok guy.
Yeah.
Now, you cannot not be accountable in your first marriage
And you're
and
seeking
expect
addition.
that other marriages, you would replicate that dysfunctional pattern in other marriages. I assure you. I'm so certain with my experience in therapy. So the point is, a lady that has probably given her time, herself, and like I said, you did not also invest in her career while you were growing in your own career path. You just left her. Sadly, many of our ladies that marry early want to be more back to back in the space of 6 years, want to be more meji meta. It's stressful. Very, very stressful for a woman. Hey, we know how much stress is it. Not talk of back to back. You're not there to support at home. You're not probably even there to,
You're just providing the finances.
to make her feel,
not enough.
you're not just to come reproduce. You also have a life. Would you take a course? Would you start a business? Things like that. So that in itself starts to affect the woman's mental state. I said earlier, hypervigilance starts and it leads to emotional isolation. When both of you are not on the same space,
Level,
then later it leads to avoidance. So a woman that has probably
Is that why these men are so invested in their work? 7 days a week,
Wọ́n ti sọ kọjá.
escapism.
72 hours a day.
What
They are
is that
working.
kọjá?
Escapism.
So ohun tẹ̀ ń dálẹ̀ nìyẹn.
Escapism.
Ohun tẹ̀ ń dálẹ̀ nìyẹn.
You see, when you can't have meaningful conversations with your spouse, just normal, meaningful conversations, it's tough. And sadly, it's because before marriage, there's a stage of independence before interdependence. Before marriage, as guys, the lifestyle we have lived is always difficult for many of us to migrate to the marital reality.
Can you break that down? That's important because we have some people who are Gen Zs, Gen Alphas watching. What do you mean by that? You said at the point of independence
Yes.
to interdependence.
Yes. So ideally, by mid-adolescence, you should be living independence, 16 to 18. You should be living the stage of independence, say, about myself, about my identity. You should start thinking of companionship. You should start thinking of caring about an opposite partner or people around you, So, and that comes with another level of social rediscovery. You need some new social skills to learn how to communicate, to understand, to manage relationships.
To show care.
Now
for people.
in marriage, why do you think people will cut for people will cut for probably 3-4 years, and after 3 months in marriage, everything crashes?
Why?
It's a different ball game. You are now in each other's space, okay? And if you, as a man, cannot learn to tolerate and have meaningful conversations with your spouse, there'll be problem, there'll be tension.
So let me take you back. We did from age 16 as a man, you should start switching into that mode where you.
Yes, you should start being,
But in an
not
average
even a man,
Nigerian home, this man is still under the roof of father and mother at age
If I-
32.
We overprotect our children too much. Go back in the whole days, or even if you look at the Syro, age 16, even in the Maghreb, go to Sudan and co. A boy of 16 is married now. Fine, their weather is a very harsh one. So by even 35, they look old. So they marry very early in those environments. Okay? So, but the point is, at 16, a boy child should be a responsible adult.
Taking care of some things. in the
Yes,
house.
you should be. If you're in the UK, at 16, you start to work. Yes.
So what is it about the issue around UTME admission, age 16?
It's because we've just used the formal school system to define success. That's the problem we have. We've used this to define success, and that is not it. In fact, it's not even helping at all in any way. I've had primary practical cases of kids at 16 to 18 on internship, or they go to work in the workplace, then they now later go back to school. Some do gap year courses before going to school. They are better off than those that transit into school immediately.
Very true.
Far better off. In fact, they do very well, better than. And within the Ummah context, we have those that would say Kolosi Islamic school and all that. I'm saying beyond just the Islamia, the Arabia, and all that, we must make them functional.
Empower them.
In fact, because it's at that stage when they interact with people, there will be self-reflection, there will be metacognition. They start to understand themselves better, their strengths, their weaknesses. Then, with those feedback, they start to understand exactly who they would fit into, who they can align with in life. It's not just, I'm happy this year, in this January, probably 80% of my clients in therapy have been men. Things are changing fast. Yes. Fantastic, and you would see very, very many different cases. Those suffering from gender dysphoria, those suffering from, being unable to express themselves, a lot of issues.
What's the first thing that you first said? Gender
dysphoria.
Explain, break it down.
When a man likes a man.
Oh,
Sorry.
they are among your patients?
It's normal now. We have them in the Ummah.
Subhanallah.
They're struggling. You have to be compassionate to them. I have had girls 12, 13, 14 walk up to me privately to say, Mentormoh, she kissed me and I'm feeling differently. Even at that age, girls too are experiencing all these things. You see, we just need to say it as it is.
No, Mentormoh, you are talking about Nigeria.
Yes. And why is it that way? Yes, the primary point of conversation is if they've been sexually exposed early growing up. All these boys too are abused. We just don't get to tell those stories. Boys are abused. And you see, yes. And you see, when a girl child or a boy child is abused, two things will occur. It's either they overcompensate for that behavior or they go destructive. Overcompensating for it would be that you would continue that behavior in multiple folds, and it becomes a way of life because you're attached to the sensation associated with it. The other way is I'm going to hurt. I'm going to start
take revenge.
But because they are in their youthful years too, and probably they find it difficult to now connect with the opposite sex, so they go down low. It's just those, and we have boys like that who are interested in, so, and these things happen. They just look for a way to just,
A young man called me, and I guess you should be the one he should be speaking with, but he was looking at it from a spiritual angle. He said he needed ruqya. And when they say they need ruqya, I'm always reserved because for any case, I need ruqya. So I said I should listen to him. He said that he was 38. And that's because it's like 2 years ago. He was 38.
So he should be 40 now?
Yes. He said he masturbates like 5 times a day. And it was not as bad as that initially. He said he has tried everything to ensure that he stopped. He didn't stop.
Okay.
he was looking at it spiritually. I asked him to go and see a specialist, that we are going to pray, do this, do that, but he needed to see a specialist. I didn't get a feedback from him. Can you please help look into his case?
Of course. You see, there are some innate animalistic behaviors peculiar to both gender. At puberty, moving into puberty, if a child, even early childhood, yes, you know, when children play with their genitals, it's just sense, because at that oral phallic stage, between 1 to 3 years, what they find satisfaction with is when they pee, when they poo, or when they suck. Okay, those are the areas of satisfaction to them. So when a boy plays with his, genitals, it's just sensation seeking. It's just excitement and all that. Doesn't mean anything. Now, when you're moving into puberty and you start to, have the boner and you feel like you have seminal fluid and all that, there's a tendency for you to, by nature, at that time, experience masturbation. But that type of experience is not is not something that should be a behavior in any way. Okay, so some men in those early years would have masturbated probably once in a yellow moon or something. It's not like it just happens by their nature. So, but when it now becomes a way of life, a coping mechanism, a negative coping mechanism, that is when we start to worry that it is a problem. Because, you see, it is a sensation-seeking behavior. Meaning, you want to feel good. You feel sad, you feel depressed, you feel frustrated, you feel overwhelmed, you feel guilt, you feel shame, you feel not so good enough. And what your neural pathways will tell you is, just indulge. So the excitement that comes with it releases dopamine. You feel good in that moment. But sadly, your brain will downwardly regulate it. And once your brain does that, you want more and more and more. And you are trapped in that cycle, So with other forms of behavior, not just, we have other forms of behavioral addiction too. That one is just one.
I want you to drive that down to the very bottom. Now, that addiction, I want you to talk about the side effects and the way out.
Okay, so there are a lot of side effects. Behaviorally, you always lose energy. You would always be lethargic. It's going to affect your normal way of life. Okay? And when you do something, like I said, that you're not proud of in secrecy, you would not be well adjusted. There's a way it affects your soul. Even from the Islamic viewpoint, you would know spiritually that this thing is not, So the thing is, I've had brothers walk into my space and discuss this with me, because they feel safe with me and all. And we have been counting calendars. I've been an accountability partner on this journey. Okay? Yes. So the thing is...
So it's not a one-off thing?
It's not. There will be relapse.
Fantastic.
There will be relapse.
And I think it's one of the mistakes some people do.
People think it's an automaticity, that something will just change overnight. No, it's not going to. Behavioral activation and change takes time. Yes, so be kind to yourself.
There were some people, they said they're trying to justify their action, went on YouTube, read a lot of things, said that the white guy says that it has no negative side effects.
You see, blah, blah, blah. No, that you should ejaculate probably 21
times a month.
Yeah, so that in itself has a correlation with your level of testosterone, actually. But there are other ways you can boost your level of testosterone too. Okay, physical exercise, not being sedentary, running your routines, being, pushing out the right masculine energies. Once you're physically active, it will boost your level of testosterone. Okay, so the thing is, any behavior that you cannot now control, people would lose control to the point that even in their cars, in very hot places, they quickly do these things because they've lost control. And by the time they are now in the stage of marriage with their spouse, it becomes tough.
We need to on code. We have just barely scratched the surface, and there's so much more to come. And as he spoke, it keeps taking me to a lot of angles, and that's because I'm also a mother of boys. And when he said it's the parents, how we raise them, it threw the dagger at me. Like, how are we raising the current ones that we're raising? Are we not raising default survival men already? Are we raising them to, those are the things that are going through my mind. But when we left off, it was a matter of, this, apologies for using the word I want to use. We're pushing two broken people into a union.
You mean a man and a woman now?
Broken by default from the upbringing, broken by what society has
Just
broken
with
them
the
into.
settings.
So I think it's a twofold question. And I'm hoping that when you respond to the outer one, it will lead us back to that chart you gave us, the survival, the normal, because it would be nice to give quick guides on how to exit from one stage to the next stage. That would be, I think that would be an icing on the cake if we're able to do that.
I think that's a good way to start. The bulk of the children we have today, have been grown up too fast, too soon. They have suffered what we call the orange child syndrome.
The what?
The orange child syndrome.
But we still complain that at 16, 18, they are not matured enough. So how do you justify
That
it?
is why they are not matured. My daughter is 6. She is just moving to primary 1. She's just moving to primary 1.
Mm-hmm.
We have children who are just 4 already in primary 1.
True.
Yes, yes.
True.
You see, if the fetus is less than 9 months and it comes out, what do you call it?
Premature.
Why is it premature?
Got it ripe.
Every developmental milestone has its bandwidth. If you rush a child to an age inappropriate learning or developmental milestone, that child might struggle to cope at that time, but you are prematurely restructuring the child for the future, so the child becomes a dysfunctional adult. There's this picture I saw on Instagram in December. We have 2 chickens in the oven. One was at 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. One was at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. And they put them in the oven for the same hour. I don't know.
Yeah.
So the one with the 1,000 degree Fahrenheit was totally burnt, you know. The one with 300 was looking
Good.
toast, and all. That's an analogy of what it should be. If you hurry your child too fast, too soon, based on, it's because my child is intelligent, she's doing well academically. If that's the only appraisal for a child's well-being, there's a problem. What I focus on is the social-emotional well-being of the child. Can my child express herself? Can she communicate? Can she be aware of her emotions? Can she play with her peers? How does she manage rejection? These are things, solitary play. When she's alone, how does she manage her boredom? When she's with her friends, associative play, how does she interact with them? These are indicators that are most important at the early stages of life. And if you look at foreign cultures, China, Sweden, you see they don't focus on whether, they don't even do appraisal in the first 7 years. They don't do appraisal. It's in this part of the world you see them saying, in fact, some parents will now even be competing for scores. No, you're projecting your inadequacies on your children. That's exactly what most parents do. They want to replicate the failure.
You're projecting your inadequacies on the children.
Yes, there are failures. They are struggling to bring it out in their children. And that's overcompensation. So they pressure those children too fast, too soon. Another way they grow up too fast, too soon is exposure. There's so much information they shouldn't be privy to. You give them access to TV. You don't even censor. Yeah, you just feel, and then
they're watching cartoon now.
So excessive information at that age, then the emotional overload too. What they see you parents doing in the home, you're shouting at yourselves, you are doing all sorts of
silent
behaviors,
treatments,
all those things. Yeah, daddy is not talking. Why is he not talking? All those things, they internalize it. So then, because the environment is also, the way it is, their peers and all. So when they grow up too fast, too soon, But you just think biologically because the child is big and all that, the child is ready. No, he's not, he or she is not ready. Look at Michael Jackson. He struggled to still to still connect with his childhood, you know, till he died.
To the very end, yeah.
Yeah, so if we do not take time and allow them quality childhood, especially in the first 5 years, and I'm saying this to fathers, fathers, is not your money we need now. We need your presence in the home at that time. Play with your children, engage with them, take them out, roll with them. You know, in fact, it's therapeutic for fathers. Every day, if I'm at home, I take my children to bed. And before that bedtime, 15 minutes, we are rolling on the floor. We are playing, we are gisting, I'm telling them stories, they're telling them what happened in school. You know, that is my own time to distress. In fact, their mother is always jealous. It's after I've taken them to bed and I'll go to Aoya. You to come to bed.
Watching it, yeah.
You know, come to bed. You know, so, but for me, that helps me say, okay, Mo, you've not been around all the morning, all this while.
All day.
It's not the availability of time. So fathers will be at home, they are still useless around being at home. Yes, it is the quality of time you spend with your children that really makes that difference, not how long you are available to them.
You decided to take it from the very bottom,
Yes.
before adulthood. So, and that is so wonderful. But so I want you to sort it once and for all.
Okay,
There is the identity crisis issue that is in the
Good.
Western world.
good.
And we are Muslims. And they say that it is natural, that is their being, you know, that identity, that's, you know. So how can you help us decipher this from the lens of an expert with that of Islam?
Okay. So when you take a child's choice away from that child, from the early years, the child will definitely have identity crisis. I don't decide most times for my child. I give her options. And when she chooses the wrong option, I use that as a point of learning. When she chooses the right option, I ask why, to be sure she knows why she's making that decision. That's, you see, according to Erickson's psychosocial development stages, a child at very early ages would start to take initiative. If you shut down that child will start to develop self-doubt about taking initiative in the future. If you label that child failure or negative, or you just focus on the things the child is not doing right, okay, the child would continue to doubt his or herself. So the child is not able to be creative or take initiative. Even if he or she wants to take that initiative, for the fear of judgment, the child will not take that initiative. That alone in itself would now start affecting that perceived self and the ideal self that I talked about. The child will suffer incongruence. There will be struggles within the child about, this is who I am now. That brings me to a very critical point. I really intend to start Islamic psychology courses this year,
Okay.
you know, for my school. And why is that? Psychology started in Islam. Go and read history. And if you go to all the counseling schools in Lagos, even professional counseling schools, even when you go to universities, you don't see courses specialized for Islamic psychology. And you see pastoral counseling. You now see Muslims being conditioned to take courses in pastoral counseling. Why is that? You know, so it's important we start making, that's a serious one. People understand that psychology started in Islam. Because it is when we start also producing literature, adding to the pool.
Body of discourse.
Do you know, should that shock you? The way that the current trends in applied psychology now, in the field of psychology now, is positive psychology. If you go watch research or publications that are recent now, and these are directly enshrined principles of Islamic psychology. When we say acceptance commitment therapy, when we say mindfulness and near intentionality, I can go on and just pick
So
the Islamic version.
anyone that is a male thinking as a female, or a female thinking as a male, is sick. Is it safe to say that?
Well,
It's not normal.
it's
Is
not
the person
normal.
sick? Is it sickness?
It is not normal.
It's a dysfunction.
It's not normal.
So it's sickness.
To an
You don't want to
extent.
hit it.
No,
Is it sickness? Does it need help?
Well, if we define it by medical terms, the person needs help.
So that makes the person sick.
Yeah, in a way, yes. Because so this is it. Biologically, let me use the biopsychosocial model. Biologically, if you have excess of the female genes, there's a tendency for you to, we even have those that are hermaphrodized by birth.
Yes.
Okay? And then there are ways
condition them into a certain gender.
Yes, and that's by birth. But those that have now chosen by themselves that, okay, I'm a man, but I want to be identified as a cat. I'm a woman, but I want to be identified as this. Those are the ones that actually have psychopathologies of different ranges. And if you look back into their developmental years, even you would realize that there's been very negative experiences that they've gone through. So that dysfunction that they have lived through is now becoming a normal way of life. Okay? The same way we are accusing men of being unnecessarily, aggressive and all. It's the same way those individuals, and then their society have normalized those behaviors. If our society too, we still have them here, but they are downloads, they are not confident because it's a criminal behavior.
Our friends, yeah.
If our society has actually normalized it, I assure you'll be amazed at how many people in the Ummah would have been displaying these tendencies.
Actually, we have so many issues of this. You said it when you started this show, and we pray to Allah to guide them.
I mean, even we have Islamic related communities for these people abroad.
If I may just comment, I would love if you can share a quick guide to move our men from survival mode to normal mode, to reduce the number.
Okay.
I think that is where we should actually focus more now, because we said, Boxy Mama said, I also corroborated and Abonfa did, the majority of the men we have, we assume that we are the survival mode. And we need to move to normal mode. And
let's have the parameters.
Okay.
So how do we know which level you fall into? Abonfa is in flourishing mode. You can see you can see the face cam. Too much money.
There's the
So it's about money. I think about for long.
in fact, I assure you, it's not about money.
Most of our parents in
money is not even a significant, and that's by the time you come into therapy, you realize that money is probably the least of the problems of why you are in that mode. Yes. So survival mode. It means you are crushed by your adversities, you're giving up, and you have a victim mindset. Okay? So biologically, you have chronic stress response, you're burnout, your sleep is disrupted, you're always worrying, you're always ruminating, always thinking, overthinking. Your immune system is compromised, your energy is always depleted, you're always tired, and you don't have energy, you move slow. Psychologically, you feel hopelessness. Okay? You believe nothing can change. Nigeria cannot change. You have a victim mentality. You're always blaming external forces. You cannot take accountability. I'm not blaming my parents again. This is me now. This is my journey. I'm not blaming my spouse again. This is me now. This is my journey for my sexual performance. No sense of agency or control. You do not even have a locus of control anywhere below face.
And sexual performance leads to depression.
Of course. Yes. It can. We'll come to it. Then possible suicide ideation. Possible. Maybe sometimes you just want to leave the world. Sometimes you just want to disconnect. Socially, you are isolated. You are pushing people away. You are not seeking or accepting support. They want to help you. You are forming strong head.
Kumomo.
You are burdening others with despair. Everything you say is about desperation. Is about negativity, cynicism.
You are creating problem for all the solutions.
Yes, you are not seeing any positive thing about anything around you.
Social media,
and then relationship suffering from negativity. Yes, who wants to be around somebody that is negative? Then spiritually, there's no sense of meaning. Spiritual crisis, you are questioning God. Your faith does not have purpose again, and you are disconnected. You're just disconnected So that's the difference between spirituality and religiosity. You can be going to the mosque and all, but when they see your behavior, they'll be like, is this person
now?
So that's you in the survival mode. In the functioning mode, you're functional, but you're fragile. Okay?
Functional is better than survival.
Yes, that's the next stage. You're functional,
Did
but
you
you're
find
fragile.
yourself in that survival mode?
And this survival mode, women can also be in that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we are going to know where you. I want to know where I am and where you are.
No way, mo tẹ̀ tí wọ́n ti sọ àwọn ọkọ̀ tó pé ó dà pé mo sì sọ
Eh,
my
sí,
mind. So àtọ̀ra wa láti ẹ̀ jẹ́ ká máa wá bí dáwà káàkiri.
So functional mode, you're functional, but you're fragile, recovering from setbacks. That takes
Okay.
time. So you've had setbacks growing up, family crisis,
Career crisis.
but you're still trying to get
Marital
back.
crisis.
So biologically, you can manage your stress better to a normal level, despite the fact that you don't sleep well all the time, but you are still trying to catch up with your
What's
sleep.
the normal time to sleep before you leave there?
You want to know when I belong there? About the fact we dey sleep now. We dey sleep.
If I mean,
We
tell
dey
us, I
sleep.
bet, mean,
We dey
tell us.
I know that they sleep. Or anything
I mean-
10, just shut down, and then you wake up for
Ah, kì í shut down
5:30.
for
We will play that juice now. We are sound now.
Iṣẹ́ yóò gba ká shut down ten
And then
ni.
you should try to have siesta periods in the afternoons. Power naps, 30 minutes,
About the
1 hour.
fact, we have not been sleeping
Yes.
well. Oh.
Yes.
But for anyone above 40,
Yes.
how many hours is recommended?
7 hours at least. You see, what happens is.
I know you 7 hours. So.
Ẹni sọ̀rọ̀
Iṣẹ́ yà
ẹ̀
lẹ́kùn kiri.
Then àwọn ọmọ àtàwọn òbí ṣe tẹ́yìn ò ṣe now.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni,
And
àná
Obi
ló
had
fi
a
siesta
natural
ṣe.
lifestyle.
I don't know
Yes.
if you siesta ṣeré.
He had there
Abeg,
are a lot of
I dey
things
see
we
now.
do these days that are not that.
No,
are
ẹ bèrè lọ pé ṣáà bí o ṣe siesta. Ṣáà wọn ṣe siesta.
I know you níyàwó mọ́kànlá.
Kí ni yẹn di ṣe pẹ̀lú ilé ìdáhùn? But seriously, I think I'm learning something.
So let me continue. So your immune system, you're not always breaking down, falling sick, exposed to cold and all.
Okay.
Psychologically, you can identify obstacles, but you're still overwhelmed.
Mm.
Okay, you have some sense of drive, but you have limited confidence. Recovery takes time. You still feel sad once in a while.
Mm.
Then you are questioning your victim mentality at that stage. Yes, but you are questioning it. Yes, you are questioning it. That come.
It's not transferring it to someone else.
Yes. So then, socially, you are reaching out for support by style. Maybe your wife now. You're now using style to.
Abeg gbọ́n ẹ̀kan tó ti sá lọ ti pẹ́.
Friends provide some help. You're able to reconnect after crisis. Then spiritually, questions about meaning but no answers. The faith is tested but not abandoned. So your spiritual practice, your tahajjud and all that is not consistent, but you are catching up gradually. So the thriving mode, you are developing resilience.
That's the first stage, Abi.
The third, yeah.
That's the third.
Right.
You started from survival,
Yes.
functioning
Functional,
stage.
and
Look at ask you find yourself for that functioning. I won't hear the thing
Bóyá
first.
kí n gbọ́ thriving yẹn náà. Bóyá kí n gbọ́ thriving yẹn náà kà wá compare.
So thriving is your
So you might want to help us
resilience.
focus a little bit on our audience.
Yes.
Yes.
You're developing resilience, meaning you can bounce back easily from adversity.
Okay.
You're viewing obstacles as learning opportunities. So this happened.
Lagos State.
What do you do?
What have I learned from it? So,
Lagos State is the resilient state.
Yeah,
It's
you
the-
must
they
learn.
never say die.
You must learn.
so biologically, you have good stress recovery patterns. You have nervous system balance. You sleep well. Physically healthy. You have energy when you wake up. You have the drive and all. Psychologically, you have a growth mindset.
Okay.
Okay, not a fixed mindset.
That's
Okay,
Lagos.
obstacles are challenges, not threats. You are proactive, increasing sense of agency. You're not waiting for things to happen. You're going
You are
out for
creating
it.
things.
Yes. You recover faster. You have self-compassion during difficulties. You're kind to yourself. You're kind to yourself.
To yourself, not to
Not
others.
to others,
Socially,
too.
yes,
Yes.
that's where it starts from. Yes.
Compassion. to
Socially,
yourself.
If you are right.
Yeah, be
Ara,
stress.
don't feel like Jewani, yeah.
Let me go.
Just shut down. Kí ló ṣeré ní Umrah.
Yeah.
I have one Oga. When she does anything, she will just say, well, carry. She will just be thanking herself and praising herself.
Way to go, self-appraisal. So socially, you're actively seeking for mentorship and support.
Okay.
You're asking for help, allowing others to help you. Your connection is deepened. You are vulnerable around people you are with, and then you're inspiring others too with your level of resilience.
At
Like your struggles, your stories, people can be
feel it.
inspired by your stories. Yes. Then spiritually, your faith is deepened. You have a larger sense of purpose now.
There's better clarity.
Yes. Finding meaning in your suffering too. In the beginning of this podcast, we were talking about what word did you use? I find it so. I wanted to say it was suffering. There was a conversation we were having, and she mentioned something. I said, okay, you have to just choose your suffering.
Poison. I said choose your poison.
Yeah, poison. Yes, it's suffering. It's suffering. Yes. Yeah. So then the flourishing mode, mashallah.
That's the peak.
It is
That's the peak.
Yes, that's the
So if you
peak.
never see where you
This
dey,
is
that means you're
interesting.
flourishing you dey.
This is interesting.
So it is the obstacle that would actually activate your growth. You're not seeing the obstacle as any. You are interested in that obstacle.
You're a fighter.
Okay, now.
So meaning that you are bouncing back to a higher level of. You fall down now, probably from this stage to this stage, but bouncing back.
You go beyond.
You're going beyond, like post-traumatic growth. That's what we call it. You grow, in a very. So, in this stage, the stress activates your growth. Yes.
Wàhálà nílé ayé yìí náà ṣá.
Your sleep is
stress
quickly.
Activate your growth.
Yes. Your sleep
So
is
those will be the one that understood the Surah Al-Anfal.
Tọ́lọ̀ ti sọ pé.
Alif Lam Mim. Ahasiban nasu an yutraku an yakulu amanna wa hum la yuftanun. People think that you leave them untested because they say that they are believers. وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّا الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ فَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ صَدَقُوا وَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ الْكَاذِبِينَ. So these people operating in this level, they are obviously flourishing.
Mashallah.
I am enjoying this.
Physical health is excellent. Your feet as a man.
Yokun.
Your feet.
No. Kayokun, is it?
That's not. You should not yokun.
Má yọkun, kò sí kun bí o, má yọkun.
Ajá ẹni mo pass. Ẹni mo gbà láti help.
So you're very much ready, for you are one step ahead of life psychologically. You learn quickly from setbacks, and there's more wisdom in how you do things. It's magical. You are now at a stage of mastery as against just still competence. You understand yourself so well and your life so well that, that's where a man should be.
To be in control.
Yeah.
Are we in control of our life?
So socially, you seek freely and you support freely.
Control.
You mentor others through difficulties. Relationship deepens. Then you're strengthened at the community level. You're not just about yourself now or about your family. You're not giving back to the system. And then
This
spiritually,
was not part of the first 3 stages.
suffering. I was watching the video you sent to me about this Dr. Abdul Latif.
Okay,
When he was saying, I'm not taking any role again. This is,
yes,
at that level.
it's flourishing.
It's flourishing.
Wow, mashallah.
Mashallah, it's flourishing.
Dr. Abdulatif Abdulakim,
It's flourishing.
you say you are flourishing from a psychologist's point of view. 4 wives, you are still flourishing.
Is it possible to
Mashallah.
be sleeping in and out of
Absolutely.
Stages, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We have protective factors and risk factors at every stage, at every developmental milestone. For those that are going through midlife crisis, okay, for those that are probably still in their career exploration stage, and for those that are beyond that stage, how the protective and risk factors are, for example, a woman who has a special needs child, or a man who has a special needs child now, you do not know what would happen the next time this happens, but you are prepared, or probably that's even when we have a consistent chronic stress around us. Look at when life just happens suddenly. You lose a partner, you lose a job, or you lose a contract that significantly shakes your coping resources. How you would adjust at that time would be a function of what resources are around you. How many people and that's why for a man, don't always be a lone ranger too. No matter how much money you have, that's why a lot of them commit suicide. We have all the money and there's still that lacuna in you. You still feel empty. It's because your money itself has just been about achievement. You have not found meaningfulness about life. So from success, you have to find significance. At these early stages of our development, we are looking for success, career achievements, money, life. But beyond success, you have to find meaningfulness. It is in that meaningfulness that you have significance. Look at us here now. It is significance now. Because what is the money associated with what we are doing? We are trying to give value. We are giving value back to the system. This is very significant to our mental well-being. But beyond that significance, because some people too use significance as just a coping resource for their sense of well-being. Beyond that, at the point where you are not using your significance to feed your ego, that is at the transcendence level. This is for something beyond me.
It's not real.
I'm doing it for the sake of Allah. And that's why Islam is beautiful.
Wallahi.
Our intentionality goes a long way in everything we do. In fact, it helps us manage a lot of worry and crisis that surrounds our day-to-day decisions.
As you're saying this, I'm just smiling. And I'm smiling?
Yeah.
I remember some of our conversations on our group, on our platform. We always remind ourselves, let's just keep purifying our intention.
Wallahi.
Every time.
Every time. Just keep
Wallahi.
purifying
Every
our
time.
intention.
Wallahi.
Because we faced a lot of backlash, challenges.
Alhamdulillah ala ni'matil Islam.
We are Muslims.
We are Muslims.
And do you know why? I love the way he broke everything out. He never mentioned money at any point.
He put a caveat out that you'll be surprised that money doesn't even play.
Yes, as in the stages, you understand. But I don't want to leave this show, without talking to our men that are facing the survival mode. Wallahi, our brothers are facing a whole lot. How do they get away? What can they do to get? Because we're going to ensure that we bring out all these factors out there, but how can they get out of that level?
Tips.
Yeah. How can they
for
get
survival.
out?
So the thing is, for you to move out of that mode, it's either you reduce your suffering or you are self-inspired.
You what? The first one.
Reduction of suffering and self-inspiration. Those are the two pillars. Now, under you reducing your suffering, the first thing to reducing your suffering is you have to accept your objective reality. A lot of brothers are still living a fake life. They are in denial. They are in denial.
If you are on the island, you can come to Ikorodu.
And
you can as well go to Ayetoro. You can go to Ayobo.
Somebody saw me with my korope and was asking me, at your level,
brother, I do not have a car at this time. If you come into my office, you wouldn't know I don't have a car. Everybody has a priority where you attach your values to.
Mentormoh
Do you know that? You know what? Before marriage, I had one. But I knew the kind of life I was living, the kind of way I drove. In fact, part of me would probably is me rationalizing, but I used to say maybe I would have died. I used to be very reckless with driving. But I noticed too that I don't know if it was Allah's design, in those years of nurturing my children. Now when I get on the steering, I'm always very careful.
Because
where I'm going to generally is to say that it's not as if it is not a necessity.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's not as if, for example, last year, I spent over 1 million naira buying books and,
Books.
Yes. Those are areas of priority. As at yesterday, some of my books still came in from the UK. Okay? So I have
hard copies.
Yes. So I have areas of need. I have things that I feel are important to my life.
Someone went to the port to go and clear car. Someone went to the port to go and clear books. Who is the master of the future?
So the point is, it's up to you to define where you place your values.
I
tell you, that's the point, brother.
I'm just
It's
taking
where you place your values. Brothers should just go easy on themselves. I feel a lot of brothers are not being just to themselves. when you accept your reality, you would know that, okay, this is where I want to start with. Then some brothers are in some community that are not inspiring. I want Jama come out to say they are to enslave you. That's just the truth. So if you do not come to a point of saying, I need to find a way to break out of this space myself and help myself,
afresh,
you would never get out of that circle.
Is this where Idra comes into place again?
You know what you said now? Some people are in some Jama'ah, some societies, some communities, some associations. They are dictating their lives for them, and they are using those standards they have set
to measure
themselves. So what he's saying now is, for them to move away from this surviving mode, they have to free themselves.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
You know, is this not Idra itself?
Idra
noni, move away.
So because then again, we need to set goals. Brothers are just living by default because they've grown up by default. Do you know that? Yes, but when a boy attains puberty, you won't see any video online talking about, okay, when you start to see your sperm or seminal fluid, this is how you take care of yourself, your hygiene. And nobody does that for boys these days, especially locally in our space. But girls, once puberty comes, their menstrual period, there's education, there's a way they are groomed. Boys are not groomed. So I want to say, brothers have to start supporting brothers too. If I enter Korope or if I enter anywhere now, or if I'm in a commute, if I'm commuting, if I look at the men, they are tired or something, I can pay for 3 men. Before I give a sister money, know that I've helped 3 brothers.
That's the way to go now, right?
That's the way to go now. Let's also start supporting
ourselves.
Brothers.
Mashallah.
Wallahi.
Gege University.
Even our production team has said yes.
Wallahi. It's very... As it might not be the value of that money.
Exactly.
But that somebody is showing compassion to you means so much.
Mashallah.
Some men are so stressed that when people give them gifts, they are like, gift ticket.
It's so gift
It's
alien to him.
You're right.
To him. And then let's start teaching our young ones too, telling them I love you and all those things, little things now. So that when they grow up, it is not far away to say, oh, Dad, I love you and I care about you too. All those little things matter for as we grow older, when our children are, are growing too, So we need to start being more expressive. You need to start taking, but really, wallahi, we have it be that accountability.
Okay.
Accountability.
Being to start being more expressive.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong in showing them.
There's nothing wrong in being in expressing yourself.
Wait, why did you say about the
Thank you.
So it's not expressive.
You know the problem of pay finish.
Because is it a crime to be gentle?
One man feel
Who is gentle?
Sorry,
it's not about being gentle.
Is being gentle a mental health issue?
No. Your personality being an introvert doesn't make you.
Thank you.
No. That has nothing to do with expressiveness. You can be gentle, but you're still expressive.
Be introvert, gentle.
I'm an introvert. This is character assassination, and it's a mental health risk.
No. If you look at the Yohari window, you have the private self, the public self, the hidden self, and the blind spot. The blind spot feedback along for you. If you think this is who you are, they are the ones seeing you and they are giving you feedback. Yes.
I'm on my best. In Surah Al-Qiyamah, Allah said, Innal insana ala nafsihi basira. Walau alqa ma'adhira. He said it is men that know themselves better. Even when they are making excuses. Your appraisal of me could be as people's perceived self. But me, I know my true self. I know my real self. My Lord knows me. It is your perception from the angle of an expert. Because almost often
men amorawa.
Thank you.
I'm Aphrodite.
Thank you. So mo mọ́ra mi mo mọ̀ pé èèyàn pẹ̀lẹ́ kùtù ni mí.
Bí ẹyẹ àdùbà.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mi rí báyìí now.
But I don't know about me now. But there's this point I don't want us to joke with, and that is when you said men should speak out. Most men seek help. Yeah, I agree. Most men, we don't.
When do we speak up?
I'm guilty of this. Wallahi, I'm guilty of this.
Van Damme.
I have very few people that I can call when I need something. In fact, Kento Wangawani Momo Peti Udube Keto Peni is one of them.
But remember to tell them how much of the time I call you to.
That's a beautiful thing.
But before he calls me too, that's why if he calls me, Wallahi, if he calls me, if I don't have to, or I can't solve that, I want to find a way to solve, because I know he has thought it deeply. Yeah. Oh, but Otihani.
But when people see you, they think, wow, you're living large, you're fine, everything is just fine. Especially Imam Ni, you have answers to all questions.
At what point
do we speak up?
Should we speak out?
Well, that's subjective. For individuals, like I said, if you have assessed the objective reality, if you cannot continue to do the same thing over and over. Some people would want to solve their problem themselves, and they've adopted different approaches. And I think this is where the emotional resilience model comes in. And I would say, I call it L3C square. The first L is love it. Okay. If you are doing something, if you have an engagement or an event, or if you have a marriage and you love the person and the person reciprocates, you love the thing the more. It increases the resilience in that marriage. If you do not love it and there's a significant part that you cannot cope with, you leave it. For example, it has led to domestic violence, things are getting worse, you leave it. If it is not that bad, you would live with it. That's the third L.
Many people are living with their marriage.
Yes. I totally agree.
So, okay, so allowed time and allowed, So if you've now lived with it for a while and you find out that things are still not getting better, then you change it. Look for new strategies. Okay, try to change the situation. If after still trying to change the situation, we seek professional help, we try this, I change this in the house, and I change my routine, I'm available, but nothing is changing, then you have to change yourself.
That is the first one is love it,
live with it,
change it,
then change
yourself.
And that's why ladies between say 36 to 44, you see them once they reach the middle of those bandwidth and they are in abusive marriages or marriages that are not adding any value, that's when they are bold enough to say, go.
Monlo.
Let me just.
And they move on.
And they move on. Confidently. They've had it enough. So they are changing themselves at that point. And for men too, you have to be accountable too. That's what I want to say, men. That change yourself. You might be the problem as a man. So you have to now sit down and say, beyond trying to blame others, beyond deflecting, beyond denying my responsibility in this situation, what is it that I have to do differently? Do I have to go for an anger management class? Do I have to go for a communications class? Do I have to, go in for therapy and just onboarding? That is you changing yourself for the equation.
One of the things you said, I want people to take home is the fact that you said to move from one state to the other, it has to do either you reduce your suffering or you create inspiration. Yes. I want to share a little secret. I think I told Abanifa once, I had a challenge with my job, and I talked to very few people. There was one of the very few people I called, and there was one person who said something to me. He's my mom. I just called him. I had issues with my job, blah, blah, blah. And you know what he told me? He said to me that day, he said, Jubro, some people planned against you. You saw it clearly. Now, use that anger in you. That in another 2 years, they will regret the action they took. And that's changed everything for me at that point in time. So how do you as men get inspiration?
You had a mentor, a good one.
Funny is not my mentor.
Okay, so but you had a good
I just want
role
to
model.
reverse to confirming that you belong to the flourishing stage. And I have my reason now, and you have just said it. One of the parameters you gave is they use their challenges as a catalyst
For growth.
For growth.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you were told that, Oya Otishubu, Dide Gbọ́rànù, Oya Fo. Congratulations. Ọmọ ti gbéra.
You are something else.
So brothers, we don't need to wait till things have gone so bad. Most times a man is diagnosed only when he starts having problem at work, when HR starts reporting him making mistakes or absenteeism or presenteeism, or when he starts to isolate himself in his relationship, when he starts having marital problems, when he starts taking substances, you start seeing him displaying. That's when we know that it's in a mental health challenge. But before then, a lot of things matter were before then. Men should not wait till it gets to that
Critical
point,
stage.
before they reach out to say, and my lines are open. Midnight, brothers will call crying on the phone. I'll pick.
Brothers crying.
Brothers crying on the phone.
So àwọn ọkùnrin máa ń sunkún.
Brother, you'll be amazed, both within and outside the country.
Allah Akbar.
So, and I think it helps. It helps. And then some would even come into my space, take your time. When you're done.
So it's okay to cry.
Even adults, 70-year-old men. So it's not about even age now.
So from your observation,
Yes.
most of these cries usually from what exactly?
I know you want to just emotional release, Nick.
No,
Crying is
I
a
just
good
want to
thing.
know the cause.
Crying is healthy. Okay?
Something must have propelled
So
you.
if you've bottled a lot of emotions,
It can be marital,
events,
it can be
yes, it could be regrets in life, it could be mistakes, it could be
Like you regret how you maltreated your woman and now she...
No.
okay, well, that's also a point.
Here we go. Now, is there anybody
That's
crying
also
for
a
that
point.
purpose?
Yes. Especially
No, àwọn
if
obìnrin
that,
kọ̀ọ̀kan sunkún pé àwọn mìíràn máa tó tọkùnrin ni.
some people would, if you to have no opportunity to access that person again, probably by death or by probably there's,
Yeah, I lost it.
then you come to a point where you feel unable to change things, and that in itself can be.
A brother cried for a purpose. And what would you tell that very brother? Because when he shared the experience with me, he said the wife said that they've been in marriage for, say, close to 2 decades or a decade and a half and all that. And then the wife said to him that he has never been happy in their marriage.
Wow.
But in his own judgment, he believes that is not correct. So because of that disappointment of appraiser, he was crying.
Okay, it's okay if he cries, but beyond the cry, the wife gave an honest feedback about how she feels about the marriage. It doesn't mean that you have not been doing enough. Okay? So do not attack her. She wants a conversation. She's not even blaming you.
And we're afraid of the conversation sometimes.
You see it as you're an ingrate.
Yeah, that's exactly what
Yes. But she's saying her mind that she is not. Women catastrophize a lot. It might not mean that she has not been happy in some times, but when she says it like that, and probably even a pattern of that generalization of that statement might not be just about that statement. It might be like it's a pattern in our communication style. So if you now just take that statement, hook, line, and sinker, and use that to just
That
judge
is
the
one
situation.
major problem.
No.
Women.
So we should not take them for their word absolutely.
No, you want to clarify further to know exactly the motive behind that.
And do you know,
When a word like never has
so
been
when a
used,
woman says
I've
that,
never been happy.
Baba, it has been said to me very well before, and I'll just laugh at it because I know where I'm going to, and
This
I
is
know
where
what
we
I'm
grow
doing.
up.
So one should not use that as a yardstick.
So when a woman says to you, I have never been happy in this marriage. So as a Muslim, is either you, subhanallah, why are you just telling me this? So you haven't been happy all this while. So how have you been coping?
So what can we do?
Now you have acknowledged what she has said. Meaning
Unto
you
the
have
fed bunny,
listened to her.
Unto fed bunny.
Now beyond that, you are now creating a bridge.
You are taking
to say
another
that
further step.
how
Can we fix it?
how do you feel? What
Will make you
makes
happy?
Happy. What is your definition? You're not always around. Even when you're around, you're pressing your phone.
Bẹ́ẹ̀
I want
ni.
this, blah blah blah.
Ò ń sùn ni. Tó bá ti wà lóhun ló máa sùn.
Don't make it look like we are talking about you now.
So
No, it's not about me. I'm talking about somebody.
tó bá ń sùn. So really, the man might be fatigued. Ọkọ jẹ́ pé
Àwọn ọ̀fẹ́ gbọ́ yẹn.
àwọn ọkùnrin mi wà tẹ́ pé wọ́n máa lo nǹkan tó máa bọ̀ nílé because wọ́n fẹ́ ní those hard conversations pẹ̀lú ìyàwó wọn náà.
Charge.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, so when they get home, they just know they would knock off. Okay? So don't.
Ìyẹn dẹ̀ ń dún ìyàwó.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, because kò fún quality time. Escapism will work. One thing again, men affects men is when ladies raise their voice at them. Then ladies shouts at you.
Ego thing.
You know, yes, and
Ó máa ń dún yàn, ó máa ń dún
shuts
yàn.
shuts a man down
Yeah.
sometimes, you know.
Especially tó bá tiẹ̀ tí ń sọ̀rọ̀ jù.
Yes.
àwọn tí àwọn máa ń gbálé tínú fíìmù yẹn ń kọ́.
Fíìmù ni.
Ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ náà. She would slap you doesn't mean she doesn't love you. Yes.
Ẹ má jọ gbá mi léṣe ẹ̀jọ̀.
So she slaps you and she's the one crying.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's just
Ìfẹ́ ló
You
jẹ́
have
kó
made me
gbá
to
lójú.
slap
but
you.
she needs to
I'm
also
ashamed.
get help. You know, it's just like when some
I
break
put my get at lagi-
TV
that
or
lagi that
break
is-
things, and you know, a lot of things happen.
Mentormoh, we have to come back again, inshallah.
No, please, you this time
Yes.
we're going to give you time, and then you are going to come and discuss our women. What we have been discussing
mashallah.
basically
Yeah.
are the men.
Akànyí àbáwọn.
Akànyí àbáwọn. We need to
How
discuss.
disconnected these men are, and they expect some miracles. That is essential.
Kí là yín sọ? Yọ̀wọ́ kùnrin lẹ́tún fẹ́ sọ ni.
It's a very
Wait,
important.
I think we have learned enough to know how to cope with boxing.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni,
Okay.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni, we have learned a lot.
Thank you so much.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ọ̀dẹ̀ ti ń gba jives. Mentormoh.
So if you've learnt enough now, when she made that statement, you have to acknowledge that position.
Acknowledge.
Àti gbọ́,
And-
a máa discuss.
What can we do to fix it?
No. What we are doing is to allow you to come and talk about it.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you.
Mentormoh, wallahi, it's a
Alhamdulillah.
delight having you on the show, and we
Alhamdulillah.
want to pray to Allah to bless all your efforts.
Ameen, ya
What
Allah.
you're doing is not, it's selfless. And we pray to Allah to reward you abundantly,
Allah.
put His barakah in all your
Ameen,
affairs.
Allah.
And we pray to Allah that whenever you need anything, Allah will always be there for you.
Ameen.
Jazakumullahu khairan
Ameen,
jazaa.
brother.
Naam.
Alhamdulillah, I mean, that's we wish for it to continue, but time is all our
So-
friend, right?
We are going to scroll the contact of Mentormoh on the screen, so you can reach out to him. He has done this for us pro bono, and we truly appreciate him. And he has done this for the Ummah because he's in the flourishing stage.
In
Okay.
fact, on the comment section, tell us what stage you are. And,
Oh,
that would be interesting.
One leg in, one leg out,
Yes,
functioning and thriving. I've been dancing in those two
So
categories.
tell us,
Yeah,
inshallah.
tell us where
But
you-
don't call Mentormoh, send messages to him if you are not serious about getting
Help.
help. Please. He's a busy person and he's not free of charge. Please know that he's not free of charge.
He decides that.
No. Let's
He's
take
not
that.
free. He's not free. He's not free. He's not free. But he's dealing with the Ummah now, so he's going
go
to
to
put
the
the human
foundation.
face to
Yeah,
it.
you can go to the foundation. It has 3 stages.
Thank you.
Aha,
Go to the
mashallah.
foundation. But then I would want you to please quickly note this, that Mentormoh is a core professional, he's a Muslim, he's a sheikh, and he's a compassionate person, and he has come here to give us this service for the sake of Allah and His Rasul. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala thank you for us. Jazakumullahu khairan. Cousin Fumlayo is my name. Abu Hanifa.
All right, my name is JB. Jubu Falami is the name. This time I'm not catching cold again. Thanks to Mentormoh. Alhamdulillah. But we can only get better. I've learned a lot. See you same time on another episode of Deen Uncoded.
Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Allah Akbar, not the flourishing
Ameen.
stage. One leg in, one leg out. I that's up and down. May Allah is all our affairs.
Ameen,
Box
Allah.
Day signing out. We'll see you on another episode, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair.
Oh